Hey, what's up you guys, it's Dorothy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to go into chapter 15 part 3 of Marked by PC Cast and Kristen Cast. So let's get right into this video. This video may contain sensitive topics and foul language. If you do not wish to continue, I suggest you click off the video now. You have been warned. I should have probably been afraid of the odd sensations breaking over me, but they filled me with an almost unbearable lightness. I felt good. So good that when Nefret faced the flame that burned in the middle of the room and the rest of us turned to the interior of the circle, I had to press my lips tightly together to keep from laughing out loud. The drop-dead gorgeous poet was standing across the fire from Navette, and I could see that he was holding his big purple candle in his hands. And last, I summoned spirit to complete our circle and ask that you fill us with connection, so that as your children we may prosper together. Unbelievably, I felt my own spirit leap, like there were bird wings fluttering around inside my chest as the poet lit the candle from the huge flame and then placed it on the table. Then Nefret began to move around within the circle, speaking to us, meeting our eyes, including us in her words. This is the time of the fullness of the moon. All things wax and wane, even Nyx's children, her vampires. But on this night, the powers of life, of magic, and the creation are at their brightest, as is our goddess's moon. This is the time of building, of doing. My heart was beating hard as I watched Nefret speak, and I realized with a little start that she was actually giving a sermon. This was a worship service, but the casting of the circle and Nefret's words coupled to touch me like no other sermon had ever even begun to do. I glanced around. Maybe it was the setting. The room was misty with incense and magical in the flickering candlelight. Nefret was everything a high priestess should be. Her beauty was a flame of its own, and her voice was a magic that held everyone's attention. No one was slumped down in a pew sleeping or sneakily doing Sudoku. This is a time when the veil between the mundane world and the strange and beautiful realms of the goddess become thin indeed. On this night, may one transcend the boundaries of the worlds with ease and know the beauty of the enchantment of Nyx. I could feel her words wash against my skin and close my throat. I shivered, and the mark on my forehead suddenly felt warm and tingly. Then the poet began to speak in his deep, powerful voice. This is a time for weaving the ethereal into being, of spinning the strands of space and time to bring forth creation. For life is a circle as well as a mystery. Our goddess understands this, as does her consort, Erebus. As he spoke, I felt better about Elizabeth's death. Suddenly, it didn't seem so scary, so horrible. It seemed more like a part of the natural world, a world that we all had a place in. Light, dark, day, night, death, life, all is tied together by spirit and the touch of the goddess. If we keep all balance and look to the goddess, we can learn to weave a spell of moonlight and fashion within it, a fabric of pure magical substance to keep with us all the days of our lives. Close your eyes, children of Nyx, Nefret said, and send a secret desire to your goddess. Tonight, when the veil between the worlds is thin, when magic is afoot within the mundane, perhaps Nyx will grant your petitions and dust you with the gossamer mist of dreams fulfilled. Magic. They actually were praying for magic. Would it work? Could it work? Was there really magic in this world? I remembered the way my spirit had been able to see words and how the goddess had called me with her visible voice down to the crevice and kissed my forehead and changed my life forever, and how just moments ago I felt the power of Nefret's calling of the elements. I hadn't imagined it. I couldn't have imagined it. I closed my eyes and thought about the magic that seemed to surround me, and then I sent up my wish into the night. My secret wish is that I belong, that I have finally found a home no one can take away from me. Despite the unusual warmth of my mark, my head felt light and unimaginably happy as Nefret called for us to open our eyes, and in a voice that was at the same time soft and powerful. Women and warrior combined, she continued the ritual. This is a time of traveling unseen in the full moonlight, a time to listen for music not fashioned by human or vampire hands. It is time for oneness with the winds and caress us. Nefret bowed her head slightly to the east, and the bolt of lightning that mimics the spark of the first life. She tilted her head to the south. It is a time to reveal the eternal sea and the warm rains that soothe us, as well as the verdant land that surrounds and keeps us. She acknowledged the west and north in turn, and each time Nefret named an element, it felt as though a jolt of sweat electricity sizzled through my body. Then the four women who personified the elements moved as one onto the table with Nefret and Lauren. Each of them lifted a goblet. All hail, O goddess of night and the full moon, Nefret said. All hail, night, from whom our blessings come. On this night we give thanks to thee. Still holding the goblets, the 4 women scattered back to their places in the circle. And the mighty name of Nyx, Nefret said, and of Erebus, the poet added, we ask from within your sacred circle that you give us the knowledge to speak the language of the wilds, to fly with the freedom of the bird, to live the power and grace of the feline, to find an ecstasy and joy in life that would stir the very heights of being. Blessed be. I couldn't stop grinning. I never heard stuff like this in church before, and I sure as hell never felt so energized there either. Nefret drank from the goblet she held, and then she offered it to Lauren, who drank from it and said, blessed be. Mirroring their actions, the 4 women moved quickly around the circle, allowing each person, fledgling and adult, to drink from a goblet. When it was my turn, I was happy to see the familiar face of Professor Pete offer me a drink and a blessing. The wine was red, and I expected it to be bitter, like the sip of my mom's hidden Cabernet I tried once and definitely did not like. But it wasn't. It was sweet and spicy, and it made my head feel even lighter. When everyone had been given a drink, the goblets returned to the table. Tonight I want each of us to spend at least a moment or two alone in the light of the full moon. Let its light refresh you and help you remember how extraordinary you are, or you are becoming. She smiled at some of the fledglings, including me. Bask in your uniqueness. Revel in your strength. We stand separate from the world because of our gifts. Never forget that, because you may be sure the world never will. Now let us close the circle, embrace the night. And reverse order, Nefret thanked each element and sent them away. As each candle was blown out, and she did so, I felt a little twinge of sadness, like I was saying goodbye to friends. Then she completed the ritual by saying, this rite is ended. Merry meet and merry part and merry meet again. The crowd echoed, merry meet and merry part and merry meet again. And that was it. My first ritual of the goddess was over. The circle broke up quickly, more quickly than I would have liked it to. I wanted to stand there and think about the amazing things I had felt, especially during the calling of the elements. But that was impossible. I was carried out of the temple on a tide of chatter. I was glad that everyone was so busy talking that no one noticed how quiet I was. I didn't think I could explain that to them. What just happened to me? Hell, I couldn't even explain it to myself. Hey, you think they'll have Chinese food again tonight? I just loved it last full moon when they had that yummy mugu stuff afterward, Shawnee said. Not to mention my fortune cookie said you will make a name for yourself, which is way cool. I'm so starved I don't care what they feed us as long as they feed us, Aaron said. Me too, Stevie Ray said. For once we're in a perfect agreement, Damien said, linking arms with Stevie Ray and me. Let's eat. And suddenly that reminded me, guys, that nice tingly feeling the ritual had given me was gone. I can't go. I have to. We're morons, Stevie Ray thumped herself on the forehead, hard enough to make a smacking sound. We totally forgot. Ha, crap, Shawnee said. The hags from hell, Aaron said. Want me to save you a plate or something? Damien asked, sweetly. No, Aphrodite said they're going to feed me. Probably raw meat, Shawnee said. Yeah, from some poor kid she caught in her nasty spider web, Aaron said. By that she means the one between your legs, Shawnee explained. Stop, you're freaking Zoe out, Stevie Ray said, as she started nudging me toward the door. I'll show you where the rec hall is, then I'll meet you guys at our table. Outside I said, okay, tell me that they're kidding about the raw meat. They're kidding, Stevie Ray said unconvincingly. Great. I don't even like my steak rare. What am I going to do if they really do try to feed me raw meat? I refuse to think about what kind of raw meat it might be. I think I have a Tums somewhere in my purse. Do you want it? Stevie Ray asked. Yeah, I said, already feeling nauseous. That is the end of this chapter. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.